round two, we meet a man who's revived the art of making a very special kind of model in SMALLWORLD.
These are possibly the oldest working automata in the world. They were made in about 1390 and are part of the clock in Wells Cathedral in Somerset. Wells Cathedral automata are the oldest. This is one of the newest. David Secrett's The Archer, his toxopholytic automaton. It's one of a collection of caricatures mimicking life. Beautifully approximate, not realistic. Highly entertaining, not lethal. David Secrett tunes up his lute player, using a brand new technique for an old craft. Many early automata played instruments, but they never sounded like the instruments they were supposed to be playing. They were just simple musical boxes. David Secrett doesn't claim that his is completely lute-like, but his automatic spinet does sound like a stringed instrument.
His lute is actually a scale model of an Elizabethan lute. The belly is cut out from a piece of previously laminated wood or block so as to represent the planking of the original. The soundboard happens to be a piece of cedar of Lebanon with the neck dovetailed in the correct fashion. The bottom bridge is a piece of ebony of the right shape to which all the strings, the correct number of strings, 13 strings in 6 courses, run up over the gut frets which were tied on and over an ivory nut and into the pegs which do actually work so as to keep the strings tight.
The silversmith. This was made as a shop display model and runs from an electric motor. He sits in a shop window and does his thing, hammering at a chalice and attracting the customers. David Secrett began his working life apprenticed to a church organ builder. He had a spell as an RAF instrument fitter and part-time spy, and afterwards returned to organ building, and later moved to the workshops at the Science Museum in London. 5 years ago, he began restoring mechanical antiques and then decided to become a designer and maker of modern automata. Not a common occupation. This was the first automaton he made, a woman working a pole lathe. Not a common occupation for a woman, but they are easier to dress. The concept of a smoking automaton had been played with for about 100 years or more. David Secrett made this one as an advertisement piece for a firm of publishers. The smoke is drawn down through the arm by a pair of bellows underneath, and then blown out again through the mouth. The smoker lifts the book up, and it's obviously something by a rival publisher because he gets a bit bored, kicks the stool just for something to do, and probably ends up selling a lot of books, but with a very bad cough. According to David Secrett, early automata, certainly 19th century automata, were very clever but not very well made, mostly papier-mâché and bits of tin plate and wire. And of course, now worth a fortune. Certainly in David Secrett's figures, you won't find many bottle tops and lumps of papier-mâché. He uses wood as his basic material throughout and doesn't make any 19th century mistakes. His models can all be taken apart for repair, and in a few hundred years' time, automata restorers will bless his name. Every piece is dry assembled, tenoned and pegged, no screws, no glue. With David Secrett's models, you won't have to break into them in order to repair them. Any metalwork is of an extremely high standard. The bits you don't see are as complete and as finished as the bits you do see. This is the cam rail for the Archer. The cams are made of tempered hardboard, which David Secrett says will wear like a pig's nose. They're revolved by a clockwork motor, and even that David Secrett makes himself. One sometimes wonders whether David Secrett made David Secrett. Each automaton takes between 6 weeks and 3 months to make. They are, of course, collector's items. David Secrett woke up one Christmas morning and thought he'd like to make an Archer, and he still has that first attempt somewhere. He says it looks more like a tank than a figure, but that's probably not true. If it is, his Archer has improved a lot and is now a joy to see on any morning.
Now, we just saw the cam rail being put in, which operates him by pulling down 16 strings that come up through the front chair leg. This hand comes round with an open thumb. The cam rail pushes down on a string and the thumb locks onto the arrow there. And as the capstan or quiver, this part, turns, so the hand comes up with the arrow, and at the same time the left arm lifts and brings up the bow into an operative position. And then the bowstring engages with a notch on the arrow, and everything's set up ready for him to fire. And then he stretches his left arm, and notice that the wrist is hinged so that the bow stays in the correct vertical position. And then when the arm is fully stretched, another string is pulled, and that releases the latch on the thumb. Bow drops down, the wrist, the arm goes down, like that. Bow goes back to a restful position, and the whole sequence starts again. In the meantime, the head is being turning around, eyes have been closing. One eye blinks to sight the arrow, and then occasionally he blinks as well. The tongue comes out, and he's been able to do that on a double neck movement, turning around, etc. Both legs have lifted up, just to give him something to do more than anything else. The heads are merely caricatures. As you can see, this is another little head. The eyes move. Like that, the tongue moves. And in order to do that, we have to use a fairly flat sort of visage face, because it's all hollowed out inside. So you can see the eyes are just little segments of wood. First of all, one operates on one pull of the string, and then a harder pull, and they both go down.
All very simple, really, if you know how.